want to say thank you for taking the time to watch the
I never
video.
did a take two.
For those of you who may be unfamiliar,
Special guest, man.
My name is ALLAY EARHART. I am a songwriter and hip-hop artist from New Orleans, Louisiana. My passion for music developed as a little kid. Being raised by young teenage parents, we didn't have much financial resources. However, the music that was being played in our household gave us a sense of worth. Those songs helped us remain rich in spirit. During my adolescent stage, I decided to pursue my interest in music after years of experiencing life-defining moments, such as gun violence, police brutality, being homeless, and a host of other challenges. Truthfully, I needed an outlet to express myself, and music was the perfect avenue. While working as a busboy in high school, I saved up $500 to buy my first piece of equipment, and I decided to skip my senior trip to Disneyland so I could afford to record my first demo. Please note, it was the feedback that I received from my community that encouraged me to spread my messages mainstream due to how they were all impacted after listening to my music. Now that I've given you a brief description of who I am by trade, I'd like to give you insight of the man behind the art. At heart, I am a servant leader that creates soundtracks to help my community navigate the courses of life. Since the age of 15, I've been committed to helping the world become a better place by hosting school supply giveaways, touring book drives, feeding homeless citizens, and mentoring at-risk youth. With that said, I've noticed how music has always been the universal language that helps me bridge the gap between different generations, cultural backgrounds, and ideologies. Most importantly, I've been honored to have many people tell me how I inspired them to continue pursuing their dreams. The reason why I continue to produce music today revolves around the fact that I have the opportunity to create change. Aiding other artists and everyday people is very important to me. From my perspective, collaboration is key. I wholeheartedly believe in paying it forward to ensure that our entire community is progressing. Once again, my name is ALLAY EARHART. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Once again, y'all, that was ALLAY EARHART backstory. And before we get to anything, appreciate you for coming on, brother.
Man, thank you for having me.
The name ALLAY EARHART, is that from Uptown Street Earhart?
Correct, 100%.
What made you pick that name?
So I have a cousin by the name of Sadiq Navarra.
Okay.
Right. He one of the people that really believed in me early on, just as a person.
All right.
Before rap, you know what I'm saying? And he was killed on Earhart.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the ways for me to pay homage to my big cousin, but it's also, representing the city as a whole, because that's a unique street. Okay. So, I grew up in the Cali, and like Earhart Street was at first Cali Street. Okay. And they changed it to Earhart Street.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's some Uptown history. When did this name come about? How old were you?
Shit, well, LA was before Katrina.
Okay.
Right? And ironically enough, dog, like I got that name around the same time me and LeChucky became best friends. Okay. Right? And I just seen LeChucky for the first time at the Po' Boy Fest, since Katrina.
Okay, who is LeChucky for people who don't know?
Well, LeChucky, he was a hip hop artist that was signed to Young Money.
Okay.
With Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying? So I know him as Rashad, Shadi, you feel me? But yeah, we got our names in the same time frame. Okay. I used to wear the band-aids like Nelly back in the G. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And they just be Joseph and Ribbon all the time. So by my name being L, or Alvin is my name, it was like a play on words with Nelly and L, like LA. That's how that started off.
All right, got you. Now, the background story video we just played,
yeah, and
you narrating it, a lot of things that you said in there. One thing that stood out to me, you said you were homeless at one point?
Yeah, for sure.
What can you take us through that time in your life?
Yeah, so I want to clarify that. So it's like for a lot of people in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, we was homeless. So I still want that to be known, because a lot of people overlook that.
Yeah, people don't look at that. People just look at it as a big tragedy, but that was homelessness.
That was homelessness. You feel me? So that was one of the moments in my life where I really got a chance to see people from out of state show love and embrace. Like Dallas, for example, that was the first place I ever went. And I seen someone show philanthropy acts. Okay. And that's what made me want to start doing that as I got older. Like if ever I have a platform or get some money, whatever, I'm going to do the same thing that they did for me in my time of need.
Okay. What kind of acts were there? Was it just food giveaways, clothes, shelter, stuff like that?
100%. Okay. Well, I say it like this too. So I have an AT by the name of Miss T, right? So she like the first lady that was signed to Cash Money.
She sound like she sell frozen cups.
Yeah, you did. Real talk. That's funny. But she like we were supposed to be going to Atlanta with her for Katrina, but she dipped out early, like so she left us. So anyways, when we went to the Superdome and had to get evacuated, I should say. Go to the Astro Center. We didn't have the money really to get to the next spot. So someone actually paid our ticket to get from Dallas to Atlanta, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So that was like an act. And even I'm gonna say Tyler Perry, he's somebody I really respect because when we got to Atlanta, the actual hotel we was staying in, he was sponsoring that.
It was just paid off by him?
Yeah, it was just paid off by him. So
that's
as I got older, that's somebody I really, really respect.
For sure. During that time of tragedy during Hurricane Katrina, a lot of people talk about how was the experience in the Superdome with thousands of other people in there, man, going through the same stuff you going through.
It was scary, bro. I ain't gonna lie, cause really we was on Canal at first at the Ritz. You know what I'm saying? My uncle, he was one of the managers at the time, so we just had a room, right? And I ain't noticed until I got older, but it was like, it was a mixed demographic. It was white and black people up in there, right? But when it was time for them to evacuate us out the Ritz, it was only black people on the National Guard truck that they sent to the Superdome.
So you're saying you think they left all the white people at the Ritz?
And the white people, wherever they went, they definitely wasn't in the Superdome.
Damn.
It was all black people for the most part. I don't recall seeing the white people, to be honest. So I just remember on the way going to the Superdome, you seeing dead bodies floating and shit like that. But it was like the rumors that was being, not even rumors, but just the talk. Like, man, make sure you watch your kids because they raping kids up in the, they raping women up in the, you know what I'm saying? They snatching people. And then it's dark in that bit too. I remember the Superdome, remember they had like a little split in the ceiling, like on the roof or whatever. So it's like super dark in there, but you only see a light shining through on the field. You see what I'm saying? And I remember walking in there, smell horrible. You feel me? Like shit.
Suffocating down.
Yeah. And you hearing screams, all type of, you know what I'm saying? So it was really like chaotic. Damn. Yeah, real talk.
Were there any because I wasn't in the Superdome, so I'm trying to get some information. Was there any, I guess, authority there? Like,
not that I recall, bro. Honestly, like the only authority I can think of is the National Guards. When they was like trying to get everybody in, like single file line, like women and children over here, men over here. You know what I'm saying?
Was seeing those bodies and everything else in the screens, was that traumatizing?
Very, very traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? It was I want to show you something right quick, but yeah, I still think about that to this day, here and there. You feel me? Like it don't be every day, but it definitely plays a part in why I be paranoid with certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? And still have certain images of seeing dead bodies floating.
How does that affect the upbringing after that? How do I guess you get through it or get over that?
Yeah, that's me and my pops. I'm showing you. Yeah.
Dang.
So that's at the Superdome. Damn. That's the only authority figures I can remember.
How you got that picture?
Well, it was actually on the news, CNN, you feel me? And, years later, it just was like, you could find it on Google and all that. But
that shit crazy.
Yeah. But your question was, like, how did it affect the upbringing after that?
What was your mindset and thoughts after that?
Childhood dead. You know what I'm saying? Because, I still had my imagination, but it was just, like, really, really sped it up, like, adulthood, because it was like, all right, boom, that way all these different places, I'm more focused on the struggle what my mom's talking about, you see what I'm saying? So it's not as much fun as we knew before Katrina, where it's like, only thing I got to worry about is be outside playing, having fun.
Now you trying to help and you got more problems and shit.
Just different thought process.
Got you. Now, after, I touched on Katrina, but I want to bring it back to before Katrina and a childhood for you growing up in a Cali.
Yeah.
How was that?
Fun. Amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of lessons that I learned, especially in my section, like where I grew up at on the old side, like Durgeon Walkowie. That's like a lot of wisdom. You know what I mean? And now that I think about it too, it's like my papa, everybody know him as Mr. Keaton, the project, right? He was like the only person that really did crawfish balls and like, you know, just really feet in the community.
So he had the whole project at the crib.
What people used to be coming over that, like every holiday you could think of. We know we about to go by Mr. Key, Miss Sylvia. They gonna have something on it. You dig?
Facts.
So yeah, it was fun, but it was dangerous too. Obviously.
Talk about the dangerous part.
The dangerous part, it was like, I say I have an uncle that just came home. He did 22 in Angola, right?
Okay.
So he was really kingpin status during his era, right? So it was one of the moments where a lot of people used to be looking at me as like, okay, that's running nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'd be having just incentive to be around certain people just off of that. You see what I'm saying?
Based on reputation.
Just based on reputation. But it was like I had eventually came to my own mind when it was like, this ain't really what I want to be on. You feel me?
Okay.
And that's why I say earlier, like Sadiqi, that was one of the people that really helped me like be more confident in who I am, like believe in myself. You feel me?
Be yourself. Yeah. So coming into your own, as you realize you didn't want to, I guess, go the kingpin route, as you said.
Right.
What route did you want to go?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I always wanted to hustle. I just knew that.
What is that?
Like hustling to me was like when my dad was. So my dad, he from out the 6th Ward, so I grew up in the 6th Ward as well on St. Philip Street. But it's like they both was big dogs in their area, hustling and things of that nature. But my dad showed me more of the entrepreneur side.
Okay, you can hustle stuff other than
illegal things. You dig what I'm saying? So I always wanted to be like him. Like, and mind you, my elementary, like I went to Chester. So that's like right across the street from the Calio, right? And I remember there used to be a lot of people in my class who didn't have like dads. You see what I'm saying? So I used to think I was an alien in that sense. I used to be lying to people like, I ain't got no dad, because I thought that was cool. You feel me?
That's crazy.
But all in all, I wanted to be like my dad, which was ultimately somebody who provide for their family, manhood, stood up. You feel me? Like things of that nature, and didn't have to answer to a boss in that perspective.
Gotcha. You think what you just said just now when you said you used to tell the other kids you ain't have no dad because you thought it was cool. You think that's kind of normal when people like, not saying like doing good, because like when people say if you get wealthy and you buy yourself a Rolls Royce, come into the neighborhood you grew up in, you might feel like I don't want to go through there in my Rolls Royce because the other people are struggling and I don't want to feel like I'm stunting on them or something like that. The same thing you did with your dad when you said, well, with the kids, when you said I don't have no dad. You think people down themselves because they have like incentives or more advantages than the other when people are in poverty, I'll say?
I definitely think that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
Self-sabotage, that's what
yeah. And it's survival too, though, when you think about it, because it's like, you know, sometimes when you have things that others may not have or not fortunate to have at a certain time, that could make you a target for certain shit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I say as a kid, you know, like a lot of human beings, period, I just wanted to be accepted.
Right.
You feel me? So being an outcast by having a dad, I mean, that really was like short-lived because he was picking me up from school every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ironic part about the whole thing. Like, you know, I ain't got no dad.
Like, who that dude is picking you up every day? That's my uncle.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but all of that was needed. You feel me? But now I embrace it, and I realize how fortunate I was to have a pops. You know
growing up, how important are childhood friends? And do you have any childhood friends from when you were small?
Yeah, for sure. I still got childhood friends like from that time period. You know, a lot of them definitely like, you know, I guess you could say the stereotypical role right now, which is either dead or in jail.
Okay.
Some of my best friends locked up right now, you know what I'm saying? And some of them are dead. You feel me? So it's like I still got a lot of friends that's, you know, from childhood, yeah.
Okay. The other side of that question, how important is that to keep childhood friends around? Is it important at all?
I think it's important to a certain level in terms of keeping you grounded, right? Like remaining true to your core. If you could have people, because the way I look at a friend is somebody that looks out for your best interest, you know what I mean? Regardless, you know, like it don't have to benefit them all the time. They just generally want the best for you. So I think having people around like that can only help you elevate in life. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why it's important, but it's not in terms of just to say, yeah, I got day ones around me. But if they ain't helping you elevate, if they just, you know what I'm saying?
They just there.
Contributing to your demise, then it don't make sense.
Makes sense. Now, as soon as you pick up the water,
Yeah.
I was about to get to this now. You are a businessman. You have several business ventures and things you do. You bring your water here for us.
Yeah.
Tell us, tell the people the name of the water and how do you get your own water?
Yeah. So the name of the water is Elis water, right? So Elis means everlasting joy.
Okay.
That was a term I created during the pandemic.
Everlasting joy.
Yeah. So basically the E comes from everlasting and the Lis comes from bliss.
Okay.
So I put it together as everlasting joy. You know what I'm saying? Now, really, this was inspired by Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
Because that photo I showed you when I was dehydrated, like I was drinking the Cyanese and the, you know what I'm saying? But really it was the cyanide that they had. And I didn't know at the time, you know, I just thought water was water. You feel me? You know, we used to be hitting the hose pipe and all type of shit. So they ain't see no difference.
The different levels of it and how they turn different color when you drop something.
Exactly. So, you know, by me being dehydrated and then fast forward, like, you know, every hurricane season, water like the first thing out the shelf.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then when the pandemic hit, same thing. So I'm like, man, this really a problem. You feel me? Like we got to figure out how to solve it, not just for the world, but our people as well.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's essentially how the idea come about. And I just started doing my research. I went talk with several people really, but I ended up landing out there in Calhoun, Georgia.
Okay.
You feel me? And met with the people and yeah, they got great water, naturally alkaline. You know what I'm saying? It's no purification. You feel me? Come straight out the spring with that, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, when you got it, when it was first when you first got the bottle, what did you think when you first got the physical bottle? The first one?
It's real. It's real. That's how I thought. Mind you, I started it with no money. You feel me?
How?
It was
Tell the people if you
I don't mind
as much as you can.
Nah, for sure. It was one of them things where, you know, the community again, like I'm one that's really in the streets. You know how niggas be like, I'm in the streets, but they be on another type of time.
Yeah,
like,
in the streets.
I'm in the streets for real. You know what I'm saying? Like really giving to the people, things of that nature. So it's like the community supported it. Like when it was just an idea, a prototype, like, you know, I showed it, like, look, this is the vision, this is X, Y, and Z, and they helped the first few pallets to come in without me having to spend no money. So yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Now, dude, where do you sell these at?
Man, they all over the city. But I would say right now what we working on, because we DBE certified.
Okay.
So for the business owners, I was just about to say, so disadvantaged business enterprise.
Okay.
Right. So they say minorities, right? Anybody that's identified as a minority could be considered a DBE. You know what I mean? So essentially what they do is they help you get opportunities like being at the airport, right?
Okay. Getting a couple big box stores.
Yeah, big box stores. It's just a lot of assistance that they give you. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? So right now we are certified. So we certified to do business with the airport.
Okay.
So the only thing we just making sure right now is that our operations is intact. Because, you know,
supply and demand. You gotta have it ready when it's time to go in there. Now, how do you market your product?
Man, it be word of mouth. You feel me? Of course, social media, word of mouth is the best form of marketing. You know what I'm saying? And actually being at them pop-up shops, you know what I'm saying? Vending, like being in the community. Once again, like that's the best way at this moment. You feel me?
Okay. Also, I can't lie. I seen this from Jermaine, the Vaku shirt, about 5-6 years ago. Sure. When we was in high school from him. He had a few colors of them. Yeah. What is this and what does it mean?
Yeah, so Vaku is another term I created. Okay. Right? And it means indescribable happiness.
Man, you the man. You create terms, all type of shit.
I got to, man.
Okay.
But essentially the whole idea where that stemmed from, you know, that was at a point in my life where I was in a project heavy. Okay. Right. And again, I gotta give credit to my cousin Sadiq and Navarro because that was a fork in the road for me. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, it was one of them things where a lot of people used to be saying, man, y'all young people just out here tripping. They, you know what I'm saying? Disrespectful and, you know, yeah, that's what they say, every generation.
Now we say that.
Right.
We ain't even that old, but we say, man, these young niggas tripping out.
Yeah. Real time. So, you know, I wanted to create a platform where, you know, it was showing the youth expressing themselves in a positive way, you know what I mean, and providing indescribable happiness, you know, whether it be through making music, creating films, just anything artistically, you know what I mean? Like that was the whole premise of it. And the shirts was really just a thing to brand, to uniform ourselves as a collective. And it was like, it just started catching on, especially when I got to Dillard, because I went to Dillard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It just took off like that. You feel me? But yeah, that's what Vaku is. We still developing. You know what I'm saying? We just had an event at the House of Blues. We partnered with them. So yeah, that's something that, you know, it's just gonna continue to develop.
Okay. Now, with the Vaku brand, when you are creating these different type of, I guess, lanes for yourself, is it hard to pinpoint on one thing just to focus on? Because I know you got a bunch of ideas in your head that you want to do, but how can you just lock in on one idea or multiple ideas and make them the best they could be?
Right. So that's something I'm balancing right now, to be real with you, bro. Like, I had to prioritize, like, what's most important to me and what's most fulfilling. You feel me? And also, purpose-wise, what's going to help me really fulfill my purpose in life.
Yeah, I want you to touch on it. Before you finish explaining that, I want you to touch on what you just said, because that's a gem right there. What's more fulfilling and what's priority, because I go through like some of the same thing you just saying with like videos, podcasts, film, other stuff in life, but I want you to touch on that fulfilling and priority, that right there.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, prioritize, that's a term that we get told a lot when you become an adult, when you come of age, you know what I'm saying? So it's like prioritizing is what's important, right? Because you might have a situation where, yeah, I'm gonna go have fun. And nothing wrong with having fun, but is going to the club having fun for you right now? Is it worth, you know, sacrificing reaching your ultimate goal in life? You know what I'm saying? So that ties into both of them, the priority with, you know, fulfilling purpose. So yeah, what was the original question though? Because I know you wanted me to go back to that.
Balancing everything and trying to lock in on one.
Yeah. So that, like I said, that's something that I'm balancing, because for a long time, let's say with Vaku, prime example, once the merchandise started to take off, it was like I started taking a seat back with the music. So people was looking at me like I was a designer. They like, man, they thought my name was Vaku, you know what I'm saying? All type of stuff. And the money was coming in, but it wasn't fulfilling. Right. Like I had to tell my business partners, I'm like, I promise y'all, I'm not in no way intended to mess up what we got going on. But I'm not fulfilled because people looking at it as just the next clothing line. Right. You feel me? And that's not the vision for it. Like we want to create a harmonious community, you know what I'm saying, overall, and you ain't gonna get the vision by just wearing the shirt. Okay. So I started prioritizing, let me put this concentrated focus on music, right? Because I found my purpose in music a little later in life. But yeah, once I started seeing how that was really inspiring people and touching people, I'm like, I'm gonna prioritize this. And now a lot of stuff have been manifesting since I've been doing that. Okay. Yeah.
So you put the Vaku brand profit a little bit on the back burner because it was profitable for you, the shirts and the brand, to shift to the music. And we've been doing this interview for about 20 minutes and we didn't even touch on your music yet. So this says a lot about you as an entrepreneur.
For sure.
Before we get to the music, I also want to talk about, well, I guess this swaying into the music, Cold Drink Records. That was the email. What is that?
Yeah, Cold Drink Records. Cold Drink Recordings. Okay. So that was something that was created in 2020 during the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? And that was actually when me and my cuz, Trey Lano, he's a super producer. Okay. And when I say producer, not just Trey Lano.
Who is that?
Right here.
This you?
Yeah.
Stop the camera. Stop the camera. Put your head in there, you hear me? Say what's up, bro. Okay.
So yeah, man. You know, that was created. We did a project in 2020, right? And like we've been around each other, but we never worked with each other. You see what I'm saying?
Well, he is younger.
Yeah, you know, and we family. So just like when he was sending me them tracks, I was just in the studio one day and drinking water. Okay, you feel me? And I kind of like. Cold Drake. That's how I came, right? But mind you, we was looking for a name already. Shout out to my business partner, Ryan Davalos, right? Okay. I met Ryan at Dillard. And, you know, that's Like, you know how they say Big and Puff, fucking Nip and Black Sam, like that's my dude like that. You see what I'm saying? Okay. But anyways, he always say, man, I want to start a label, but we need a catchy name. So that was always a conversation, and it just came like, what is the most authentic New Orleans, like refreshing branding? I was about to say that too. You know what I mean? So it just came like that.
Because up north, West Coast, you know, they call it pop, soda. Right. When you say cold drink to people down there, they be like, what you mean? Everything a cold drink. Right. Like,
you gotta know what we talking about.
Yeah, they'll be like, y'all tripping. Now, let's get to this music because you sent me your media thing. I guess you sent the video background and also a page full of it, and it said you've been doing music since 2013. Now, that's about to be going on 10 years. What is the purpose of doing music and what drives you?
Yeah, that's a great question, brother. Real talk. So it's like, really, I've been doing music before that, like in terms of just living. You see what I'm saying? Because to me, that's what it is. Music is life. Life is music. But like 2013 is when I said, man, this is what I want to do. Okay. So I wasn't a professional at that time. I was really an amateur. You see what I'm saying?
But that's where it starts for everybody.
That's where it starts. You know what I mean? Because like I said, 2016 is when I really started. You feel me? But 2013, yeah, that was just my start when I had my first mixtape. I had, like I said on the video, everybody was telling me, man, come on the trip. Al, you tripping? This our last year. I'm like,
senior trip, y'all.
I ain't doing it. I can't do it. I got to get this equipment.
He skipped Disneyland for to record his demo tape, and that's crazy because when you said demo, I said, damn, this is like 2002 or something. He said demo tape.
Real talk.
You spent $500 on your demo. How many songs was it?
It was 13.
Okay, that was, you got your money's worth.
Yeah.
All right. How was that recording, and what year was it?
So yeah, that was like 2013, 2014, something like that. Because I know it was going into my senior year at 3-5. I went to 3-5. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And really, even that, the whole Disney trip is what inspired the website name and the whole idea of Vaku Land. You know what I mean? Okay. Because I made my classmates a promise. I'm like, I know I ain't going on a trip, but I'm going to make it, and I'm going to bring all us on a trip. You see what I'm saying? That was something I said back then. And I'm still going to do that. Hopefully, all my people, I will. You dig? But, yeah, so that was something that I did back then, and it was really just for me to express myself. Like, I remember telling my pops this is what I wanted to do, and he asked me, he like, so what's your goal? What's your vision with it? And at the time, I never wanted my music to be about me. I used to be like, as long as I can live successful. I used to use Currency, you know, Spitter as an example. Like, man, as long as I can walk down the street, people know what I do, and I can just live successfully, do what I want, then I'm cool. You dig? Cool. That's how I used to be like that. I don't want to be on no covers.
And Currency is super successful.
Right.
But the average, when you look at other rappers who own like billboards and magazines, stuff like that, you don't think of Currency like that, but he's a super successful artist. 100%. And lives comfortably.
100%.
Okay. Now, also, 100K streams.
Yeah.
What was that feat like for you?
Man, to be real with you, it's like fruit of your labor come when you just keep planting the seeds. So that's really how I look at it. I ain't gonna lie, when I seen the kit, I'm like, damn, at 100K, it don't feel like it. But it's just like over time, it's like I feel my impact is bigger than the streams itself. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So it's cool. I'll never be like, nah, man, I appreciate every single stream. You feel me? But yeah, man, that's where I'm at with it.
What does it feel like? From your impact?
Yeah.
How many streams does it feel like you have from your impact?
Shit, I can't even quantify, bro. I'm keeping it real with you.
Does it feel more than 100K?
Definitely.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I say it like this. It's a House of Blues, once again.
Yeah.
We just had that. Yeah. And, you know, I was spending time in Dallas for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I was getting a lot of love out there. And sometimes, no lie, I have like a second thought about New Orleans as far as, you know, we get the whole, man, it's a crab in the bucket mentality.
All the time. They get that. A lot of people say that.
Exactly. And we too cool for stuff. So coming back, I'm like, man, I don't know if they're going to want to come. So I'm like, as long as I can get at least 50 people to come, I'm cool. But we doubled that, tripled that. You see what I'm saying? Like in terms of the sales. So I'm like, all in all, it shows me that the support and the impact is there. And like we said, not even just from the music. It's just people rock with me just for me being me at the end of the day. And that's bigger than, that transcends music.
Okay. I want to ask you this. Do you prefer the streaming era or the back then era, the physical copies era?
It's funny you say that because I got a release party on the 4th, right, at Peaches Records.
December
4th.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to date it. So December 4th, 2022 at Peaches Records, right? And for those who don't know, Peaches is a very historical and prominent record store here in New Orleans. They really help put the music scene on.
Where's it located?
Well, originally it used to be in Gentilly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was the original headquarters, but now they on Magazine, Uptown.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's a balance between both. I rock with the streaming in terms of like it's perpetuity, it's long term. Right. So no matter what, people gonna be able to go back and listen to it or whatever. But I don't like the payout. You feel me? The payout is horrible. It's like they reset the game and now they give you pennies on the dollar again, like it's the 50s. You know what I'm saying? So, but on the physical side, like for example, I know this time around what we about to do, we about to hit 1,000 copies sold physical within the first week, and we actually gonna be on Billboard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the goal with this upcoming project I got coming on the 4th of December.
Okay. How do you feel the music game from the early 2000s, even mid 2000s? Because we seen a change in the music game, I would say probably about when you was graduating, about 2013-ish, 14-ish. That's when it started really changing to like the heavy streaming. With that, how do you see the music industry right now? What is, I guess, some advantages and disadvantages for our artists?
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, it's like we got a lot of advantages now because it's way more endorsement deals. You feel me? There's more avenues for us to build our own base, you know, directly. You know what I'm saying? Versus back then, it was really controlled one way. Like if you didn't go to a label, it was hard for you to get your music out.
Right, like having a label deal back, that was like a big thing. Like, oh, you signed? God damn, you gone. You out of here.
Right.
Now you signed. Now you like, they bought a bunch of artists who signed you don't even know about.
Right.
That's crazy.
But I ain't gonna front. It's still important, I think, to a certain degree, as long as you got your business in order. Because when we think about the icons, some of the top people, you know, within music history, all of them had a major label machine behind them.
Yes,
right.
Of course. Michael Jackson,
right?
to be one. Ooh, sorry about that.
Boy,
damn.
Tired.
I used to get up at 4 a.m. Damn, man.
Is that good?
Michael Jackson, who? Prince.
Even now, Drake, Kendrick, all of them.
Man,
got,
the biggest artist is signed. Like,
exactly.
Like I hear a lot of artists, which they in the industry. They know, of course, they know more about the industry than me. But to get like to a certain level, it almost seems like you have to be signed. Like the biggest independent artists, I don't know too many independent artists, but I know they not at Drake level or close to it right now. But while we talking about the biggest artists, who do you think the biggest artist is from the past 40 years, top 5?
Past 5. And that's any genre?
Any genre.
Okay. Beyonce for sure. She up in there. And let me ask this, matter of fact. Are we talking sales?
No, we talking your top 5 biggest artists. Who you would be, because if we go to sales, you could just be Michael.
I'm about to say, you could just say it.
Yeah. You could just, the biggest ones.
Right.
Who you prefer?
Okay. Who I prefer. Now, that's a great question. Now,
Cold Drink Records, if you had to sign 5 of them from the past 40 years, who you picking?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Drizzy for sure.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He just, he know what he doing.
It's undeniable right now, bro.
He know what he doing. I'm still going to go with Beyonce too. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Her fan base is just ridiculous.
Okay.
Like, I really haven't seen no cult following like that.
Shit, you better. Well,
I mean, you know, they got Nicki, they got other people. Yeah.
I was about to be like more negative cult vibe. Right, they crazy, them.
Crazy.
But go ahead. That's two.
That's two. I gotta go with Pac.
Okay, Pac.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
seem like you listen to Pac when I hear you. Smooth talker.
For sure.
Okay, Pac.
Pac for sure. And you know, his impact, again, he's just one of the people that transcend music.
Yeah, he like probably Steph Curry of music, like with his impact. With Steph Curry threes, how he changed the NBA. Pac impact, bro. What he said in his music, it's just like he opened buku eyes.
Right.
The shit.
Real talk. I go with James Brown.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he really had a fearless approach to how he, you know, expressed himself.
Okay.
And I just think that, you know, you still need somebody who's just authentic, but able to cross over as well.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? He even inspired Michael Jackson.
Yes.
You know, and me and Mike got the same birthday, so that's going to be my fifth.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Mike, James Brown, Beyonce, Pac, and Drake. So you got a mixture of from all the way back from James Brown to Mike. Yeah, you mixed it up a lot. I like that. I ain't mad at that top five at all. Now, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions of this or that who you choosing out of these people. Now, musically, we're gonna go 50 Cent, or Kanye West.
Kanye.
We're gonna go Jay-Z, or Drake.
Jay.
Okay. We're gonna go Nas, or Tupac.
Yeah. That's hard.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, that's hard for me. Musically, that's still hard.
These guys were actors too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got them tripped up on this one,
Yeah,
y'all.
real
Pac
talk.
and Nas, we got them tripped up.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna front. Look, at one point in time, dog, I really wanted to be like Nas. Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I wanted my name to be Sincere from All Belly. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that. Nas was my dude. But I don't know. I still say I got more of a connection with Pac overall.
Okay.
So I'm going to just have to roll with Pac.
Okay, we're gonna go West Coast or East Coast music. Prominent West Coast figures. We have Tupac.
Right.
They got Snoop Dogg. They got the Dre. Who's else in West Coast? They got
Game,
Kendrick.
Cube.
Yeah, Cube. Can't forget Cube. Eazy-E.
Right. And it's not laughing.
The East Coast. Jay, 50, Nas.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of people on the East
That's
Coast.
crazy, dog. Cause like Snoop is another one. I know I said this earlier, like about Spitter.
Yeah.
My mindset changed from that time point is what I was trying to say. So Snoop is now like a aim that I want to reach.
Snoop is like a brand.
He's the ultimate brand.
Right. Like when you think of Snoop, like people nowadays, some new people probably don't even think Snoop like music.
Exactly.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
He's everywhere. Cooking shows, wrestling, all type of stuff.
Right.
I'd be like, damn, Snoop the man.
So
bro.
that's my goal, to be like Snoop in that regard. You feel me? But I'm gonna have to go with the East Coast.
Okay.
Just the fact that I'm more of a lyrical based artist.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? But I do love the West Coast too, because that's basically what the South is. Like, we merge both of these sounds together.
I was just about to ask you about that too, because I feel, just my personal opinion, the South music gets overlooked, especially from the East Coast. I think the South doesn't get enough credit when it comes to the music, because with the No Limit and the Cash Money, I think they really like pushed a new wave onto the music scene and showed people a different way. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the respect have grown since the beginning, but it's still like a thing like Big Brother, Little Brother. You feel me? Because, you know, New York, they started it. So they're going to always feel like we the ones. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. But if we check the stats, we know what it really is. You know what I'm saying? I
think the South getting more credit now because of how Atlanta
been dominating.
Been just killing it right now. With some prominent South artists who gets a lot of credit in top 10 debates, top 5 debates, who always pops up. You know who I'm about to say?
Wayne?
No.
Top 5?
Top 5, top 10. Well, Wayne get in the top 10. A lot of people overlook Wayne for the top 5, but top 5.
You got to shoot
3K.
Oh,
Andre 3000.
Man,
he gets overlooked. He's one of the only people who don't get overlooked.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, I get the question now.
Yeah, he's one of the person who don't get overlooked for top 5. Yeah. When top 5 conversations come up, his name is in there. Why do you think Andre 3000 stands out?
Because he's the greatest.
Okay.
Real talk. Like, that's my dude, for real.
He didn't make your top 5 artists, though.
No, he didn't. And the only reason why is because he don't produce a lot. Right. You feel me? So at the end of the day, it's a music business.
Quality over quantity.
Definitely. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, we were just talking about this in the car because he mentioned he was running the Kid Cudi album to me.
Okay.
And we were talking about, I'm like, man, he always on that space vibe. You feel me? Which I respect it. And then what you said, Travis Scott or something like that, like get it from him. Kid
Definitely, you know Travis get it from Kid. I was about to say Kid and Kanye. I tried to leave both their names.
But I was like, before them though was 3 Stacks. Okay. 3 Stacks was the one who introduced the whole space vibe to everybody. You dig?
Yeah.
So you know, I love 3 Stacks. Honestly, like artistically, I feel like hip hop wise, nobody could touch him. Like his skill set is just ridiculous. Like I'm talking about, I think he better than Jade, whoever you name.
Unorthodox, lyrical. He could drop some bangers for you as well.
He could do anything.
Yeah. Now, let's get more to your music because we talked about a lot. We talked about some of your favorite artists, stuff you prefer, music you prefer. When you in the studio, how are you making your music?
It depends. My bad, brother, but it depends. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I just go off the hip, like however I feel. You know what I'm saying? There's other times when I want to be more introspective and like sit down and write a story.
Okay.
You feel me? But for the most part, I like being by myself. I like to be just with my own thoughts. And because I engineer myself, I'm working on mixing my stuff. You feel me? But in terms of just like being expressive and creative, like I just allow the music to just talk to me and I repeat what the music telling me to say.
I just watched the Baby interview. What was it? I don't want to. I forgot which interview was it, but he said he likes to be in the studio alone. Yeah. He said when his partner's in the studio, he just wait till they go to sleep and start recording. He just tell them get out or some shit. So what is being isolated? What does that do for artists? What it do for you?
Yeah, I was about to say for me, I don't know if it was like my upbringing. Because for the most part, I grew up as the only child. Okay. So I'm the oldest of 6, but I still grew up like with me and my mom just being the only, you know, or whatever. So I'm used to being alone in that regard with my thoughts and just being creative. Okay. But then once I started recording, I guess it was like I literally had GarageBand, a microphone, and I was just inside of a closet rapping.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that was like the essence of me expressing
so that's
myself.
how you started. So that's how it is now. It's just a pattern now.
Yep.
Okay. When you hear certain songs that you make, does every song you make you be like, oh, this motherfucker the one? This is it right here. It's certain song. Everyone.
Like I don't look at it from a commercial standpoint, like, oh, this about to hit the top of the charts. Right. But I say it's the one because I created something. I produced something. So I'm like, I'm proud of what I created.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does certain songs impact you differently than others?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, sure. Does it how does it take you back to certain moments in your life, certain thoughts?
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes it's songs where I've learned more about myself. You know what I'm saying? Versus it might be a song where I'm just popping my shit. You feel me? For example, I know I've been speaking about my dad. I spoke on him earlier, but it's like he passed when I made 21.
Okay,
right?
Sorry about your loss, bro.
That's all good. So he was one of the people where when his passing happened, for a lot of people, it could change your world either for good or bad, however you take it, right? So it was one of the moments where that was the first time I considered therapy. You feel me? But I realized now how horrible it is in New Orleans in terms of no access. There's not really much access to, you know, proper healthcare with mental health. So anyways, this is how I found my purpose, because when I was going to clinics, they're like, well, you're not qualified X, Y, and Z. So I had to fall on music.
You're not qualified for what?
So it was therapy? Like, yeah, because it was one of the things where certain insurance companies that you would, or certain insurance providers, or you don't have the money to pay for it. And I didn't have the money to pay for it, to be real. Okay. So that's where the music came in at. And I was just writing so much stuff, and it was like, I'm literally dissecting, oh, this is why I start getting in depressive phases, because when I'm not creating, I start second guessing, and then all these type of things or whatever, right? So I have songs of that regard that help me really learn who I am, that impact me. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I found my purpose with it.
That's crazy. Music is therapy for a lot of artists nowadays and throughout the history. Question for what was the therapy prices?
Man, I can't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because at this moment, it's like, mind you, I have done therapy since then. You know what I mean? And that was just something for me to like learn coping mechanisms, hold myself accountable, like just seeing patterns that I've been doing or whatever. But I say the therapist that I've been seeing as of late, her name is Dr. Jones, right? And her prices are pretty reasonable. She go based off of what you could afford. You see what I'm saying? But it don't feel like she's shortchanging you because whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah.
How long have you been in therapy?
Since the top of this year.
Okay.
The top of this year. Yeah.
I have a question, because people on movies and TV shows, they see the therapy sessions on there, and it's with the therapist with the notepad as you talking. Yes, they write more. Is it like that in real life?
It may be for some people, because I've talked to some of my partners who done therapy as well, and they explain the experience to be like that. But mine wasn't. It's like I'm talking to my big sister or something, and she just like, well, you say this was your goal is, but you know you did this, right? And that kind of goes against it. So it's like a healthy tool where you just talking out and you realize stuff on your own, like, oh, that's why I do this or do that. You see what I'm saying? It's bringing stuff to the forefront. And it's just ironic, though, because I didn't even plan this, but it was like my first project I was telling you about, the demo. The name of it was Dear Diary, right? And when I go back and listen to it, it'd be like, damn, it's talking about venting and things of that nature, because I needed an outlet as a 16-year-old or whatever. So
that's crazy. Now, you say you have a project, release party, December 4th at Peach Records. What is the name of the
Peaches? Great Habits, Great Heights.
Great Habits, Great Heights.
Yeah.
What inspired this name?
So, it was one of them things where, again, wanting to reach my full potential, get into the next level of life, right? But I knew I couldn't be doing the same things in order to get there. Like, I had to change something about it. And then I read this book by the name of Atomic Habits, right? And when I read that book, that really switched my whole perspective. You feel me? And it inspired the name Great Habits, Great Heights, because I had just moved to Dallas. You feel me? I'm in a new environment, working out every day. You know what I'm saying? Getting my protein shakes on, all that. You dig?
Drinking them green beans.
You feel me? Feeling good. So it's like, that just basically what inspired it. And like I said, the goal for this project is to make it on Billboard charts. So it's a whole campaign of just showing, like, once you change your mindset, create great habits, you're going to ascend to great heights.
Okay. With the music industry nowadays, I always like to ask every artist this question. It's always back and forth between artists and labels, especially with labels telling artists when and where to drop their projects and how to drop it. We want it right here. A lot of pushbacks. And artists always be like, after they sign and get their advance money a couple years down, man, don't sign with no labels. They doing this. They holding me back. What's your thoughts on the conflict between labels and artists?
I feel, from one, artists, we need to do our due diligence and learn the business. You know what I'm saying? Because I come across too many artists who just don't care about it. And then when they get in a situation, they won't blame everybody, get hostile and this and that. But it's like, bro, you did it to yourself at the end of the day.
You made your bed, huh?
You feel me? And it's like, it doesn't really justify the, as they say, the predatory nature of the labels or whatnot. But they going to do what you allow them to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I just put it on us to say, man, learn the business. The talent is important, but it's not as important as the business side when it comes down to the music business, the industry. So, yeah, I think it could be resolved if we just take our time to learn the business.
Is the advance worth it for that, though? Because some people on the flip side might be like, hey, you getting yourself a $200,000 advance. You're getting a chance to make more money with shows. So I'm sure labels be like, hey, y'all getting the show money. Y'all getting a couple of endorsements. Y'all shouldn't be worrying about this streaming and all the long-term money that's going to be coming in. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it all depends on your situation. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody deal, but I would say like some of the top people that we talked about, the Mikes, the Drakes, even Kanye. Like if I'm to assume, make an educated guess, a lot of them probably had fucked up deals in the beginning.
Right.
But it's what leverage they did with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, a lot of people want to be prideful, like, man, I ain't done that. But if it can help your situation and you got a plan on how you gonna move, buy yourself out of the contract, whatever, then move accordingly. But if you don't have to go that route, power to you, and don't go that route. You feel me?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on just your personal thoughts on labels, and what's your opening? Will you be open to signing to a label, and what will it take for you?
I definitely partner with a label. Okay. Like I said, just me analyzing the game. Like I told you, I want a bigger brand presence similar to Snoop Dogg. And it was a major label that pretty much helped him get to that status, right? It'll just have to be the right terms in terms of like me owning the material that I created. Cause I don't have a problem breaking bread with somebody who putting money behind me. That's business. You feel me? Like
that only makes sense, right?
Yeah. It needs to be one the whole pie. You ain't put no money on nothing.
Putting money behind you.
Right.
You won't take everything. You want all the money.
That's not a good business deal.
Right. That's like somebody giving you a loan. You won't pay nothing back.
Yeah. Like
it's a gift.
But that's why before I complain about it, I'd rather figure out and do the work on building my leverage up.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? That's why, again, this project right here is definitely the start. This is like my reasonable doubt year. You feel me?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why when we do this 1,000 copies in 1 week, it's going to make a big impact because, you know, in this streaming era, that's not really what people are doing these days. You know what I'm saying? And coming from New Orleans and the upcoming artists, you know, that's a big feat, you know? So, yeah.
Now, you are adamant and definitely for sure on these 1,000 copies in 1 week.
Yeah.
What makes you so confident that you getting that done?
So for one, it's called having faith. Okay. Right. But secondly, I'm already seeing the pre-order numbers.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? So I already know we're gonna make it there. You know? It's just like I put the work in for so long to where again I was planting the season and a lot of the fruit are bearing now. You know what I'm saying?
Coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what can the fans expect from this project though? They pre-ordering. What can they expect? What?
Nah, I laughed at him because it was like when we first. This was a minute ago. He be always asking me questions like this. You got to be ready for the interview. You know what I'm saying? But really, man, this project is very smooth and inspiring at the same time.
That sound like your personality, brother.
Yeah.
I heard a side note when I hear you on Instagram. You be talking, I be like, this nigga too smooth. Like, no way your voice is like that, but your shit really like that.
Yeah, for sure. So that's that's what they can expect, and just having fun, you know, and really don't expect anything at the same time.
Okay.
Right? Because that's why I rock with people such as Ye and 3 Stacks and things of that nature. Because you can't just box them in as one type of artist.
Right.
You feel me? So yeah, just expect the unexpected, but it's still going to be smooth and inspiring.
Is it something I can roll my windows down to and cruise at night?
100%.
Okay. That's all I need right there. Then,
and you can ride around and get some money to it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different combinations. It's a gumbo.
All right. A gumbo like New Orleans. I want to talk about more and more of the music industry.
Yeah.
Because with certain artists, it's a bunch of fiascos in the music industry. There's so much stuff going on right now. But I want to talk about, on a more serious note, artist debts. We just had another one. Well, I don't think that's hip-hop related, of course, but rest in peace, Takeoff. He's an artist. He just passed away. But artists being killed in the hip-hop industry, I like to ask each artist this as well, because y'all are artists. Y'all strive to be in this music game, and it happens a lot to rappers and hip-hop artists. What's your thoughts on artist debts?
You know, of course it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of this stuff is preventable though, you know? But it's like a double-edged sword with it. Because, you know, there's another perspective that could be like, but when it's your time, it's your time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I think it could be prevented in the ways that we move, you know? I don't necessarily believe that people should censor their art. You feel me? But you definitely have to be mindful and responsible. Like, okay, if this the energy I'm putting out, then you can't be shocked or when they come back. You feel me? Because there's a myth, I feel, when they say rap is the most dangerous job. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that personally, because it's like, for one, that takes away from people that's really doing some dangerous shit, like putting their life on the line.
Right.
But secondly, it's like, you know, it's power of the tongue. So you have the ability to create the reality you want, and you overlooking the thousands and however many artists and some of the top successful artists that never had to deal with what these other artists going through, because they're not trying to. It's like a lot of people put themselves in situations to be accepted, as we talked about earlier. Yeah. And it's like it'll cost your whole life. You dig? Instead of just like, again, creating that environment that's preventing these situations.
I get what you're saying. I basically like put it towards like you said, power of the tongue. Basically, like the music you kind of make and energy you put out. Like if you're rapping like about certain street stuff and ops and shit like that, I think that type of energy in you in real life situations. But you just a rapper, of course, you have your things on the side and your what goes on in the street life. It's real life stuff that's you just basically a rapper who got famous, but before that you was just a street dude on the streets, and you had situations before that. But it's just unfortunate that it keeps happening like back to back to back, and it's like hitting the hip hop community, and everybody questions is when will it stop, and nobody knows, and what could help it.
Yeah.
On from that, I want to touch on Drake one more time, because the Her Loss album came out with 21 Savage, and a lyric in there was 500 million just for Aubrey. He was talking about Bad Bunny numbers, but it was rumored that Drake sold some music rights for $500 million. Is that a fair number for your number one artist that you picked in your top 5?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we know Drake is worth way more than that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know his reasons for doing it, but you know.
I know his reason. 500 million reasons. That's crazy. Man.
Yeah, I feel that. But you never know, because like long term, he probably could have made more than 500 million.
Definitely,
you see what I'm saying?
Definitely, for sure. I'm sure the label gonna collect more than that.
Yeah.
Through that, but once again, he ain't gonna live that long. Probably. But
right.
Wayne also sold his. Yeah. His and Young Money Master, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was disappointed when I first seen that.
Yeah, what was it? 200 or 100 million?
I think it was 100 million.
Let me check it to be sure. But what were your thoughts on that?
Like, you know, at first, I'm like, bro, you just worked on getting out your deal with Cash Money.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? And I believe in ownership at the end of the day.
Right.
So it just was one of them things like, man, you had Nicki under Young Money. You got Drake under Young Money. And I felt like 100 was a low ball.
Yeah, he sold Drake and Nicki catalogs for 100 million.
Yeah, like that's a low ball. You feel me? To me. But at the end of the day, I never know what their reasons are, what their financial situation is looking like. You know what I'm saying? So if it worked for him, then that's what's up. But that was my original thought when I seen it.
Oh, damn, yeah. That was Drake, Nicki, and Tyga.
And people be sleeping on Tyga, dog. They always say Drake and Nicki, but Tyga really held his weight.
That's really crazy. Tyga was my favorite artist like for a long time.
Well done. He used to go hard on the Well
That shit was crazy. That nigga he got some streaming numbers, bro, especially from Rack City. But yeah, I think 100 million was definitely low. Like, especially seeing Drake for 500, and it's not just Wayne's.
Right.
He sold his Drake for 100. I don't know, that just had to be a financial move for me. Like, for that, Universal probably had to be like, oh, we know what you're going through right now.
Right.
We gonna give you 100.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Real tough.
Also, Taylor Swift Scooter Braun, you familiar with this situation?
No, what's going on?
Scooter
He is her manager, right?
Was.
Okay.
And he bought her, well, he owned her catalog, her music catalog, and I believe he sold hers, I think it was like $300 million to another company. I say allegedly, I don't want nobody to see me.
He's spreading false information.
Right. But he sold hers to a big company for like $300 million. And they went on a back and forth thing, but he was like, I own this. This is mine. I get to sell it. She was kind of angry because she wanted to buy it back, but she couldn't afford it at the number that he sold it for. So he sold it to somebody else. And her thing was, she's in a process, or she is now like re-recording all that music that he sold. So everybody can listen to her version other than the other versions that are already on Apple. But she also is going to put hers on Apple, but they just want to click. Once they click on her new version, the money's going to go to her. So how do you feel about artists doing that, re-recording music? Ashanti's doing that as well.
Ashanti's doing that. Prince did it too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the music don't hit the same.
That's crazy. I feel the same way.
It don't hit the same.
Sadly, like, especially classics, like, if I hear like Ashanti remix Foolish, like do it a different way, like, see my days are cool. Like, you can't like reinvent that like really energy. Can't. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, but $300 million, you think that's fair for Taylor Swift? Her catalog? Let me double check that too, because I don't want to misspeak. Because it probably was more.
That sound about right, but I mean, I ain't really too familiar with her hits and all that. You know what I'm saying? I know
she got hits.
She got hits. You know,
Taylor Swift catalog.
But they ain't really hits to where they impacting our community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And we don't feel the same because we not searching for that. But on her fan base, they feeling it.
So that's why I can't really speak on it. But I know for sure $100 million is too low for Drake, Nicki, Wayne, and Tyler.
Especially when I hear Taylor got 300.
Right.
Oh no.
Shit, if you do the breakdown of that, that's like 25 a piece. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is. That's 4 people, 25 piece. And I mess with some Tiger, but Tiger.
Right.
And Wayne.
That don't even
but it could have been, look, it could have been Drake. What? 25. It could have been Nicki 25, Wayne 40, and Tiger 10. So like
that's cool. Yeah,
man, that's how it is. That was the food chain in Young Money though. That's how that was the big ballers in Young Money.
Right, you right.
Well, oh yeah, Scooter Braun sold just for over $300 million. So yes, and he said her stuff from 2006 to 2017 was worth $140. Would you ever feel the music you recorded before you re-recorded? Is that something you will ever think about? Something, especially Dear Diary.
Man, well, yeah, I have thought of that. I ain't gonna lie, I have, because I like, man. But sometimes
good
like
music, I gotta do that
over. But I ain't gonna lie, like coming into this year, my hard drive crashed. I had so many songs on my shit, right?
How many?
Man, I can't even count. Real talk.
I be talking to artists, they be like, I got 300 unreleased songs. What are they at?
Yeah. It was a lot though, but I was thinking about a strategic way of putting them out. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Spitter is somebody that I studied his strategy. Mm-hmm. It was like I wanted to make sure I could drop an EP just like every quarter. So I'm thinking like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line to where I already had these projects ready. You know what I'm saying? So I really came into this year with no music, right? But now I got at least 10 projects worth of material that I could just release. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, matter of fact, I want to say this too, because somebody told me on my there's somebody that's an avid supporter. Like we never met in person, but they watched an interview I did. They said, man, you never mentioned Forever Rock, right? And that's my first radio.
Okay. That song we were playing.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Gonna play it.
So, you know, that's something I got to shout out to my coach, Devious, you know what I'm saying? He a pioneer in the hip-hop, in New Orleans hip-hop community, you feel me?
Okay.
And, I just had to throw that out there one time. Shout out to Devious, man. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you never mention?
Well, honestly, I was just in the conversation. Like, sometimes stuff be happening, and I don't even be realizing, like, oh, yeah, I did do this. I did do that. You feel me?
Oh, yeah, I got to promote this.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that came about.
Okay. With dealing with music, and all the things that go around music, what is the best thing about being an artist?
for me, it's being able to creatively express yourself. Because, like I said, if it wasn't for that, bro, like the music, I definitely feel like I'd be in one or two of them positions that my friends are in right now. Because I'm no different from them. It's just I chose a different path. You see what I'm saying? But I think that's the best thing. Like, we have an opportunity to use our imagination to create something in the physical world. You feel me? It's still like intangible. The music is intangible. You can't touch the music, but you can still make an impact on the physical world.
Right.
So to me, yeah, that's the most important.
What's the worst thing about being an artist?
The expectations. Having the expectation of unrealistic, I should say, right? When you're not managing your expectations and just like, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then when it don't happen, you can fall into those depressive states.
Oh, so self expectations.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. So you could be too hard on yourself sometimes as an artist, and instead of just allowing the process to just flow. So I think that's like the worst thing.
Okay. We talked. You mentioned this before the off camera about the labels. Of course, not at GDP, so I'm going to ask you this because it seemed like something you wanted to get into. The top music labels in the industry right now, and who do you think they are, and why do you think they are successful at the moment?
Okay, yeah, I say Cash Money is like the #1 hip hop label of all time.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because they just impact wise, they changed the game. Got everybody on that bling bling shit.
Okay,
you feel me? And the longevity, like they transcended eras. You know what I'm saying?
That's that.
So them, who's another label?
Are you counting like Interscope and Atlantic? Are you counting like the labels like that are under them? Because we know Cash Money is under Universal. So you count like Rock Nation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because powerhouse wise, if we talk about the conglomerates like Warner, Sony.
Yeah, that's it. I guess we ain't talking about that.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that.
Because the artists and the labels that are basically known are under them.
Underneath
it's like
them. Right.
What was the label? Dre, Eminem, and 50 and The Game. What was that?
Yeah, so I think that's Universal because if I'm not mistaken, Interscope is under the Universal. If I'm not mistaken,
they didn't have no name though.
Let's fact check that. So yeah, well, Death Row was basically partnered with Interscope. You know what I'm saying?
No, what was Dre label name when
Aftermath.
he left Row? Aftermath. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Yeah. Let me see. Top labels. Give you some recommendations while you thinking. Top labels. Music.
Now I'm gonna say Aftermath too because Aftermath definitely they had Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Bad Boy.
I won't count.
You don't like them? You don't like Bad Boy?
I ain't gonna sound like them. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think I wouldn't count Bad Boy.
Bad Boy. All right. Let's see what else we got.
Because Aftermath had 50. They had M. They have Kendrick. Like, they have a big portion of it, too. So, I'm going to say them. Cash Money.
Kendrick was a part of Aftermath, huh? When he first started, he went to TDE after. You don't like Rock Nation?
I rock with Rock Nation due to Jay. But to me, they ain't got no real strong roster.
They had, Ye. Rihanna.
I look at that as Rockefeller.
Rockefeller?
Yeah.
Rihanna? She Rock Nation. She wasn't Rockefeller.
Yeah, Rihanna
but she
and J. Cole.
On a hiatus, though.
Yeah. No, I won't
ain't
count
enough,
them.
huh? That's
ain't enough.
Two people.
I say Motown, though.
Definitely. Motown's still around, though.
Yeah.
You know, they getting newer. Migos part QC now.
Yeah, they
Migos
are.
part of Motown.
But just even before them, just the historical soul and R&B and all that, like, they really shaped the culture. Okay. So that's like 3 or 4 right there.
What about QC? They new?
Not yet for me, but they doing their thing.
Okay, they got, I'm looking at, they got 300 Entertainment.
No.
No?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me look up some more. Hold up. Give me a chance. Cash Money. Damn, I really don't know too many labels. Well, I know them, but I got to know the names.
Yeah, it ain't really that many that had them big impacts like that long term. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's why I said Cash Money, Motown, Aftermath.
So you basically just wanted to say Cash Money #1.
Yeah, they
that's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted to say. That's it. But look, it's crazy because P, right? Like P, that's one of my biggest inspirations. We come from the same side of the project, all that. And I just met him. Like we just had a chance to meet and he embraced me, you know what I'm saying? Like it really felt like a passing of the torch when I met him, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But like without P, I feel Cash Money wouldn't have really had that, because it's like P put New Orleans on the map nationally, and Cash Money followed that up
right after
and just kept it going.
Why you think Cash Money and No Limit didn't make music, bro?
Yeah, you know, it was street stuff.
Cold blooded.
Yeah, it was
I just saw Mystical on Vlad TV said, was it? I think it was a Turk, one of them.
Yeah.
He said I don't think they gonna. Oh, Turk. It was Turk. He said because they met at the BET Awards or some shit. P Birdman. He said they had their little stand up. He said P, and he said I don't think they never gonna like make music together. And that, I think that come down to New Orleans street politics.
Yeah. But I heard it on the other side too, like, you know, where they actually had a relationship at one point. It just never, you know, materialized into music. So, yeah, I don't think it's needed at this point.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Everybody passed their prime, so
yeah.
They all business owners now. They not artists no more, so. Yeah. Master P has everything. Noodles.
Yeah.
Sugar. Flour. That's something you want. Everything. This nigga got chips. And I saw him recently say, if you ever want to be on the Rap Snacks, because people ain't want to promote his stuff, some of the artists on there.
Yeah.
He said, all y'all who was on the Rap Snacks, I don't need y'all on there. I just need the people who gonna promote it. You see that?
I didn't see that.
He was like, yeah, for all you artists who on the Rap Snacks but don't never say nothing about it. Yeah. I'm taking y'all off.
P, look, make sure you put me on the Rap Snacks. I promote it. Dude.
What flavor you want, brother?
Damn, that's a good question. Yeah. Damn. I need some like jalapeno. Give me jalapeno honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple questions, but outside of music. This jalapeno honey.
Yeah.
I might drop that in the air fryer right quick.
You dig?
All right. I want to get into some questions outside of music.
Let's do it.
This about some relationships debate. Are you single?
Damn.
What you his manager back there, bro? I'm about to get a camera on you back there, bro. He got his manager in the back, y'all. All right.
To be decided. You can ask me anything, though.
To be determined. We gonna see that. All right, so boom. Your boo has been active on social media all day, but has yet to respond to any of your texts. Is this acceptable? Explain.
Damn.
I know you went through this before, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I be going through it like, you know, they be, so you could be posting this and that.
That comes down to priority.
Yeah, it comes down to priority. Definitely. I think it's acceptable, dog, because at the end of the day, it's like the text message, it could take a lot of energy because you're trying to talk what you're doing, this and that, and this. But me posting on social media, if you on there for a reason, because I be on there actually networking, you know what I'm saying? So it's acceptable in my book.
Okay, that makes sense to me as well.
I be posting ass shots and all that, and I ain't getting no text back. Come on now.
Another question. Could you date a girls with an OnlyFans?
Yeah, I had an OnlyFans. Me and a young lady that I was dating one time.
It's not even a question. I was just asking. But go ahead and finish, brother.
But you know me, I'm an ultimate hustler. You know what I'm saying? So
hold up. Now you say you dated a girl. Y'all had an OnlyFans? Was it sexual?
It wasn't.
All right. What was it?
So we actually still got the link. We not together no more. So if y'all want to go see.
How much was it?
But nah, man. How much was it? It was $69. $6.09 to subscribe.
Oh, $69, boy. I thought you were about to say $69.
But we had some subscribers, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And I put on game with that because I'm like, man, you posting the bikini pictures and stuff like that. You're a very attractive young lady. You might as well. Let's do it. So it was just, you know, simple stuff.
So you would really date a girl with a sexual OnlyFans?
With a sexual one? Probably not.
That one, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, probably not.
No, why? Don't make no girls mad who got OnlyFans.
Nah, look, all right. Date them. If we talking about dating, going out, stuff like that, yeah, we can go out together. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm wifing you, nah, I can't do that.
All right. Now they got big topics of right now that submissiveness on social media. I know you probably seen it run across a couple people talk about submissiveness. What does submissiveness mean to you in a relationship?
I look at it as just being willing to defer sometimes. Like, you don't always have to be in control.
That's a good way.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've had women who, you know, they was very strong-minded women. You know what I'm saying? But they was also willing to allow me to express myself and take lead in certain situations. So I think it's a balance, because sometimes, like, you know, I might not be well-versed on a certain situation, but my lady is. So I defer to her, like, all right, you might be stronger on, I'm going to just say finances as an example.
Right.
So instead of me trying to be the person that, man, I need to do kind of man. Yeah, like, nah, I defer to you and allow you to take the lead on that. So that's how I look at it.
That makes sense. That was one of the best definitions I heard of that. Let me look for a couple more for you.
For sure.
Which one? What things you lean into on relationship debate? That make me better pick a good question.
Lean into?
Yeah.
Man, I know this might sound vague, but to me it's about the vibe.
Okay.
And I look for consideration.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is the woman considerate? Because, you know, a lot of times people say communication is key.
A lot of people be one-sided.
Yeah.
All right. So, your significant other wants to spice things up in the bedroom. You agree. During sex, they ask for you to use a dildo on them. Would you?
I can't fuck with it. But I would say we've used toys before, like women that I've been with. Like, they introduce vibrators, you know what I'm saying?
Butt plugs.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. So if that's what helped them reach the goal, you dig? I'm down for it, but I'm not bringing no extra dick in the room. No, we straight. We straight.
Once again, that question ain't say that, but
it's all good. I ain't tripping. But yeah,
niggas, I'm adding my own to these.
Hey, look, it's all real, dude.
Y'all heard that here first, man. He ain't add no shit. Don't bring no extra shit in the bedroom.
Nah.
All right, let's get this one. You're dating a new person and the oral sex is horrible. How would you teach them to do it right? Or can you teach them?
I don't know if it's teachable. You know what I'm saying? I really stopped talking to a chick one time because of that.
Damn, was it consistent or did you give her a chance?
That was one time.
You didn't give her a chance?
I didn't give her a chance, bro. It was.
I probably had an off day. Girl probably had an off day. Damn.
I ain't give her a chance. And you know what? I would keep it real. It should be patience there. You feel me?
No, not patience.
No, it should be patience.
Get a chance.
Right, that's patience. If you
Right,
give her
right.
a chance, you give her a little patience. But I don't know. I think for her, I just wasn't even feeling her like that anyways. That's why I give her another chance.
If you would have really liked her, you would have been like, all right, I'm going to give you another shot.
Right. Take your time, baby. Take your time.
What was the worst sexual experience you had?
Oh, man. The worst. Like, I had a chick that I really wanted at one time. You know what I'm saying?
So you didn't.
And it was just like, no. I still wanted it in that moment. You feel me? But, like, I ain't really punish her how I wanted to. You feel me? So it's like, by me not punishing her, you feel me? It was like, damn, I done let myself down in this bitch, you know? So that was the worst. It never was really on the woman, because I look at it like it's my job to please at the end of the day. So I'm going to ask the woman what she want, like how you want to be pleased.
Okay.
So I look at it for myself. But it'd be crazy because it'd be like, boy, what? Such and such. Like, they have their own interpretation of how the experience went. But for me, I'd be like, nah, I ain't even go in how I want to. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you did your thing. Who me shit, baby? I had another 40.
Yeah, you did.
Fuck, I let you down. Damn. Nah.
Yeah, real time.
All right, now, in this social media day and age, what is the best way to approach a woman? Is it on the internet, in person?
Always in person.
Okay.
Always in person. Like, for me, I rarely follow women who I don't know, who I haven't met in person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they could probably see your personality online, but you never gonna really know till you be around somebody observing them. You feel me?
What if they following you for your music?
So that's why I say I started making an adjustment to where it's like, okay, I'll follow you, but it has to be something that's engaging for me. Like, I ain't just putting anything on my timeline just because you look good. You feel me? Like,
Makes sense.
So that's how I look at it.
Like, how I do it, like, if somebody's like one of my videos of like a podcast video and they follow me after, I'll probably follow them. But if you just, I don't know, I don't even want to say that, but if you got like some content or something on your page or something creative, or you got like a business or something, I'll probably follow you.
Exactly.
But if you're a stranger, you just got pictures, it's most likely I'm not following you.
Right.
Or something like that. All right. One more. For real, one more. One more. You can look through my followers. It's all rappers and other creators. You get married and you present your significant other with a prenup. They refuse to sign. What happens? So think about it, bro. You got your record deal with Universal.
Right.
They didn't give you 25 M's, but you've been with your girl for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
But you propose 2 months before the wedding. Baby, here to go to prenup. No, baby, I'm not signing that. Get the hell out of here. What you saying?
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more. You know what I'm saying? But on the real though, it's only one woman on this earth that I allow to not have a prenup with, because she was there from the beginning, like, you know what I'm saying, helping me sell CDs.
Okay.
You feel me? Like coming with me to shows and things of that nature. Is like even coming to me with ideas. You know what I mean? So it's like she the only person that I would like give a pass to.
I don't say the only, bro. You might meet somebody.
She the only one.
So ain't no new person can just. No. Damn, you gotta put in them years and them hours and sweat, huh?
For sure.
All right, man. Any last words for the people, bro?
Yeah, man. Again, Great Habits, Great Heights.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's coming out. You know, we about to make history. Shout out to Peaches
1,000 copies.
Yeah, 1 week. We about to hit billboards. That's really the most important thing. You know, eat less water. Make sure you hydrate yourself. Everlasting joy. You know, and in terms of the websites, you could pre-order the project at Vakuland. That's VAKULAND.com. / Great Habits, you know what I'm saying? And then get the water at eatlesswater.com.
Heard now. Yo, he said 1,000 copies, but he showed me the pre-order before the camera. He already got 1,000, so he lied. It's like I'm fucking with y'all. But
yeah.
But man, it's the TaeVi's podcast. Another instant classic on the way.
No, timeless. It's not classic.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Timeless classic. You got I should have asked you this before the interview. I don't like putting people on the spot. Yeah. You want to provide some bars for the people or something like that? If you,
it don't matter. I do that right now.
It don't matter. To me, you want what you want to do. You want a beat? You want acapellas?
I'm gonna do the acapella so they can hear what I'm saying. Heard. You know what I mean?
Turn him up. You want a beat or acapella? No, I ain't talking about that. What? Whenever you're ready, bro.
I'm ready right now. So listen. If today was my last day on earth, I proceed to get my wife pregnant. Rebirth. Then I handwrite a special letter with these words: find your purpose, then manifest it. Next, I'll use my money to invest in some cash flowing real estate assets to assure that my family will never stress about anything from the financial aspect. After that, I'm going to roll me up a fat joint, sip some cold wine so I can keep my nerves calm. Then I'm going to book the biggest venue in the NO so that my whole town can see me do my last show. Then I'm going to go to different high schools and give lectures. Tell them that life is the teacher with the greatest lesson. Yeah, you may bump your head sometimes as an adolescent, but keep swimming. Don't dwell on your transgressions. During my last 24 hours before my time expires, I give it all that I have to get everything I desire. Then I'm going to give it all back to my community and hope that God forgive me for my impurities. ALLAY.
ALLAY and Tay, bro. What that poem was named? What that poem was named? It is a rap, but what that poem was named? I know that was a poem. That's not a poem?
Not a poem.
That definitely sounds like a poem. But once again, y'all, TaeVi's podcast, ALLAY. I'm going to name that poem. He said it wasn't a poem, but I'm going to name it that. And we out.
You did. Love.